Peace, people, peace. This is your boy Juice Warner with another episode of Smoke and Jokes, where we discuss today's topics while indulging in the greatest of herbal essences. And today's show is brought to you by no other than Jet Fuel Gelato. Yes, Jet Fuel Gelato. I had ran across a dude out here in the BX, you know what I'm saying? And you know, motherfucker had it. You know what I'm saying? Now the people that I deal with, you know what I'm saying, out here in the city, you know what I'm saying, they legit, you know what I'm saying? I've never had a problem in the time that I've been dealing, you know, with the people. I've ran across people sporadically where, you know what I'm saying, I regret, you know what I'm saying, buying from them. And it doesn't match the quality or anything like that. So, um, on that note, I promote, making sure that your supplier is supplying right. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure your supplier is supplying right, people. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just wanted to give a shout out to that. Prepare my little blunt bill. I told you, like I tell you all the time, I don't do Dutch Masters. You know what I'm saying? I don't do Dutch Masters. As you know why, I can't see me calling any Dutch my master, or anybody for that matter, but definitely not the Dutch, Spaniards, you know what I'm saying, or the Portuguese. I cannot see me, buying any product that has those nationalities and master associated with it. Like, I can't buy a product with it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. It's like, it won't let me do it. Forgive me, I'm over here preparing my shit as I'm building with y'all. But today I wanted to talk to y'all about hip hop music, right? Well, not necessarily hip hop music, but how, once again, they're using the craft to control our people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of them people that calls hip hop a culture. You know what I'm saying? I do not call hip hop a culture. Why? Because to imply that hip hop is a culture, whatever you put in hip hop, you're saying that that's the people. So if your culture is controlled by white people, meaning that they control the narrative of your people, right? Then your culture is a white culture, right? Because if when hip hop was a culture, when it was a culture, I'm not saying it never was. When hip hop was a culture, right? It wasn't based on destruction. That wasn't our promotion. Not to say that destruction in our community and how we was speaking on it wasn't there. What I'm saying is hip hop itself wasn't based on that. So hip hop was based on the feel of the people inside, meaning that there are different um outlooks on things in our community, right? So our community can just want to party. Our community just wanted to go out and have a good time, right? So you listen to the rhymes and the music of the early 80s, and that was hip hop as a culture, right? That was hip hop as a culture. Right? It was about the community building about their community, whether it was just to have a good time that night or the wrongs that was happening to each other, by each other, or by outside forces, right? But it wasn't this whole big, we're all under it, right? So that's why, if an old lady telling you to get out the neighborhood or get off the block or something, you respected that because you knew that certain lifestyles did not coincide. Like a criminal lifestyle was just that. It was underground, it was criminal. So, you respected all of the community, right? You respected it because you knew that everybody didn't approve of it. So hip hop, in the sense of what you see it today, it has infected our community, right? So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna pull this up, right? And it says, hold on, let me pull up my Bronx joint real quick. Now, it says U.S. politicians have a fondness for endorsing easy culture display of solidarity, right? Meaning that white America will love to just use symbols for things, not like it's real. You understand what I'm saying? Not like the solidarity is real. It's just it's a symbol for those who want it to be real. The opposite side, right? So on one side, you have those who control the narrative, right? And then on the other side, you want those who's included in the narrative, right? So those who control the narrative can also control how you are viewed in that narrative. Because you accepting the fact of still it's their narrative. It's not our narrative, it's their narrative, and we just want a, an affiliation with it, with a representation that we feel that we can live with. You understand what I'm saying? So with knowing that they are allowed to control you. So here we go, right? In a recent move that seems to go largely unnoticed, the Senate, right? Hold on. Okay. The Senate unanimously passed a resolution designating August 11th, 2021 as Hip Hop Celebration Day. Congress. These are the same people who will not acknowledge your black problem, right? But they will acknowledge your self-destruction. They will keep that on file. They will acknowledge hip hop, so then when you look back at it, you have to acknowledge all of the destruction and self hate that you promoted through their vessels. So, all you really doing is giving them a pass out. You know what I'm saying? It's giving them another way of allowing you to be at fault and them to just fall back and it's nothing. Because as you celebrate hip hop, right? Once the late 80s kicked in, hip hop no longer existed. It was no longer a culture, right? It was a certain group within the culture having the only voice, as if they're representing the whole culture, meaning that the hip, the gangbang, NWA culture, right? It took off to where now you got gangs, Bloods and Crips on the East Coast, right? Not now. I mean, for the last 20 years, you know, you have Blood and Crips on the East Coast, right? Then you got Gangsta Disciples and all of that now, you know, because their music is relevant, right? Black BGs and GDs. I don't mean to, separate one from the other and all of that. What I'm saying is just that that whole destruction is where we are at with this, right? So if this is where we are at with it, and you could see how a music has transformed a whole community, now you're saying that that's our culture. 90% out of the conflict I had in the streets, I don't want to celebrate. I don't want to celebrate the fact that I had to defend myself against a mentality, right? That's not to be celebrated. That's not to be like. That's why I don't listen, you know, necessarily to hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? I listen, you know, like to certain artists, but as a whole, I never really liked the craft. You know, like, and the thing is, I'm an MC. I could rhyme my ass off. But then I noticed, like, in that craft, the only thing that's really respected is the self-destruction. So if you can put self-hate in a smooth way, pardon me.
F is for finally. It's time to go back to the movies with Fandango. Here we go. See what's playing now at
I didn't mean
Fandango.
to give y'all. No, 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 no. Put this on loop. That way I ain't gotta keep going through that. I just found the beat. It's Pusha T, Benny the Butcher, Kanye West type beat. It's called Pray, and it's by Sapuda. You know what I'm saying? I like Sapuda. He makes a lot of good stuff. Um, like I said, I'm into the instrumentals and all of that. So that's just basically the approach that I'm taking. Let me turn this down just a bit, right? Uh, so, you know, that's the approach that I'm taking on it, right? I'm taking the approach of they already infiltrated a craft. It's a craft. It's just like any other craft. Rock is not a culture. You know what I'm saying? Folk music is not. I mean, there's probably some folk. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these fucking music, R&B is not a culture. Why? So why isn't R&B a culture but rap a culture? Why isn't wanting to love and you know go through those type of things, a little heartbreaks and you know bouncing back from that and you know just why couldn't that be our culture? Why is hip hop self-destruction, gun shooting, you know, niggas killing niggas and bitches and you know all of that? Why is that our culture, right? And so to celebrate that, it's only giving white people a pass. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's like breaking down those statues, right? It's like breaking down those statues of, you know, like the Confederate stuff and all of that. You're helping white America bury the lie because the youth are growing up with a new transformation. The new transformation is the lie that like color doesn't exist. Like we're all just one. This communist movement is pushing across America. You know? And so they're grooming us to once again fall in line into their way of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh look, we took down the statues, but we're gonna leave you in the same position that that time frame put you in. See, that's the part that I think a lot of people overlook. It's not the fact of you trying to make this symbolic you know, peace. I think the real beef is the fact that after all of that is said and done, it remains just that. You just remain just in that position, just with a sorrow. But then it's back to pull your bootstraps up, do this, do that. Once we situated the fact that you accepted the fact that we said sorry. And now the playing field is even according to whatever we present. You understand what I'm saying? Like, whatever they bring it on the table is whatever you're going to accept as your reality. If that makes sense to you. So, if they're acting like they're wiping out their history, and we're aiding and abetting it, we're celebrating foolishness like Juneteenth. You was in slavery for 2 years. Your people, first of all, you didn't liberate yourself, so there's no real celebrating in that. Sorry. Then, on top of that, you're celebrating the fact that for 2 years, a legal system owned by white people, right, didn't intervene for 2 years as they was doing reconstruction. So that meant that they was designing a way of setting you free to where they would still be in control. You don't see that. You don't judge that and put that in your equation. You don't like add that into things because they got us on this stop looking at the past and push forward approach. And the thing is, we got more people in our community who will promote that than them. Because you can't tell a Jew, um, let that go. Right? You can't even tell America to let go of Fidel Castro. They was like, nah, we putting embargoes, we doing this. And so that's recent time of America just saying, nah, we ain't letting shit go. So if America ain't letting shit go, and you're in America, and you are an American, because clearly that's what you deem if you saying let it go and this, that, and the third, and your advancements and in life or whatever the case may be, right? As an individual, right? But when you look back at your community, you know what I'm saying, and you go, well, we're celebrating keeping up in America through crack, right? Our wealth, our wealth that we brag about comes from the crack era, correct? Right? So if our wealth comes from the crack era and we look and we go Iran Contra scandals and you know numerous police getting in on it, numerous, law enforcements and all of that, all in on this. I'm talking about even down to look the other way. So this was a grand right plot. And so we're celebrating that. Our wealth that we're saying that we acquired it and we're bragging how we acquired it off of the killing and murder of ourselves. And we turned that into a song and dance. So, those are ill rituals. A lot of times people be like, yeah, selling your soul to the devil and this, that, and the third. But look what you celebrating. You celebrating the destruction. You got music that was designed off of gospel music, right? The songs that you was hearing, right? The reason why it had a catch to you is because here it is, you was groomed into the church, so they took these melodies and these tunes and they brought them to you. They brought them right back to you, right? But in a destructive way. And so you just celebrating that. Right? You celebrating that. You think that that's a good thing. Right? Cool. I know Congress do. That's why they giving you these days. You know what I'm saying? This whole months and history, hip hop history month, and you know what I'm saying? Like this is stuff that we didn't need white America for. Like this is me personally. Like I don't like I don't see my people needing the day to celebrate hip hop. Everywhere I go, you go to hip hop forums and whatnot. That's just acknowledged from the old school to the new school to whatever. Like I don't like we didn't need you to join in on our party. Cause that's basically what it's saying. If you turn that into a month, a day, whatever, you're turning the that into a we all thing. Like Black History Month. Like that's where all of the black people celebrate, and everybody else is supposed to get a chance to learn about this. So we're indulging as a group, right? From the beginning, we could say we got, the Beastie Boys. So we could say, yes, there was always a little, you know, paint toe, should I say, in the mix. You understand what I'm saying? We always had one, so it wasn't like or even Blondie, should I say? They always say like that's like the first, rap type of thing, whatever. See how they always try to, what do they say, like appropriate our shit. I always looked at that. I always looked at that Sugar Hill Gang, taking it all the way to Jersey, shit like that. Me personally, so. You know, they took a craft that had many elements, right? Breakdancing, dancing. But it had nothing to do with just shaking your ass. It was really, you know, everybody enjoying themselves. So much so that they even made movies about it back then, right? So the dancing, even though they might have said breakdancing then, you know what I'm saying, which I think we should have never lost because now I'm looking at like, these Asian kids and whatnot and they doing their numbers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as far as respect, I look at them and I respect that shit. I'm like, wow, them little motherfuckers is getting busy. You know what I mean? So, matter of fact, I got some I think it was like the last time Crazy Legs had did like a public show type of a thing. I think I got some footage of that. If I can pull it up one day out. That's like I'm saying, like me, I'm just full into it. I love art that you see, so I used to write graffiti. You know what I'm saying? Krem, Krem. You know what I'm saying? That's the gym, right? Um, so, for me, like I understood it as a craft, like that everybody was able to come with. If you had some type of artistic skill, you know what I'm saying, that can be um, conveyed alongside music, because music was like the core. You understand what I'm saying? The fruits were, the dancing and the graffiti and, just all of that. The style, everything came with it, but it was based on the music. So to call the music a culture, I think that was, I think that was and is like a downfall for black people, but also a, um, a get out of free jail pass for white people. It's like saying y'all say the N word. What that got to do with me talking to you about saying the N word? What the fuck me and my people just doing ain't got nothing to do with you. And then they try to use this, well, you know what I'm saying? And that ain't got nothing to do with you. So for me, it's like, listen, I'm not going in your house telling you how to live in your household, right? let's get that straight. I mean, as far as how we communicate, so don't don't come to me and try to use that logic. I'm not one of them people for it. I'm like, all right, yeah, well, they say it. What the fuck that got to do with you? You don't say it. That's all we want to make and understand, because at any point in time that word is interchangeable even within our community. That's what a lot of people don't understand. The N word is interchangeable within the black community. You could say, yo, that's my, or you could say that, right? Either way, and it can both, and it's the same word, so it can have a positive or a negative indentation to it. So now, as you think of that, I'm not giving you that. That's a word within our community that, it symbolizes different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's for the community to argue that. You understand what I'm saying? But inside of our community, we know that it can be used negative. So since we know that it can be used negative, there's no way a black person should be allowing any white person to be saying it. Really, any nationality, personally, you know what I'm saying? But then it be integrated and all of that. So it's just so much, man. Like at this point, I just say, if you deal with your community, you ain't gotta worry about that shit. Like I don't worry about it because I don't have that within anybody that I deal with. You know what I'm saying? That would have anybody, approach it on that level. Whether they knew me or not. I mean, like, say if I just popped up and they don't know my style of person, it's just them naturally. They just wouldn't, you know what I mean, be like that. And then I could pop up, be a straight hoodlum. But you know what I'm saying? They still know. That's just how I talk. That ain't no open paths for you to be doing that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just how it is and shit. But I really was just addressing um the logic. As we always say, make that make sense. Make you trying to band-aid the people with with another foolishness. We had the Juneteenth thing. You understand what I'm saying? And now we got this. You know what I'm saying? Now we got this. And I'm actually do another one because that was actually I don't know where the article was at because I would actually did it back to back with this. But I forgot what state the senator was in, but he was basically saying that the COVID spread is because of black people. He said, "Yo, listen." You think you motherfuckers just won't stay in your motherfucking houses. You want to be all laughing and joking and hugging and out here shooting people and shit. He said, it's because of black people the spread of COVID is happening. You know, so they still feel their way about things. I don't know how true or false that is. I usually stay away from motherfuckers probably for the same reason. So, I don't know. All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, hey, you know, they gonna find a way to put it on you. That's what you should always keep in mind, right? I could even say, yeah, I could see, I don't like the way niggas be all up and doing a lot of crazy shit, right? But I don't see white people doing that. I just Spanish people doing that. Only motherfuckers I really be seeing on point, are the Chinese. But I seen them on point for years and shit. For years we was feeling bad and insulted by them and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they standing there covering their mouth and their face and shit. And we like, yo, them niggas don't like black people. Like, yo, the motherfuckers don't like black people, man. Word up. They don't like black people. Look how they be doing that shit. Right? So, I was like, okay, I can, you know what I'm saying? I can see that. I can see, you know what I'm saying? But now I look, I go, nah. Chinese people was on point. They was like, yo, listen, man, we got a lot of shit happening over there. Ain't no way in hell that shit ain't coming over here. And I don't know if they was some of them were actually like little missiles. You know what I'm saying? Since nobody knew what to look for, they sent them over here before they knew what to look out for. Who knows? Cause I seen a video of the motherfuckers like looking um buttons and you know the elevators and shit like that. So you know what I mean? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But then again, you don't know if that like for me, I can see all of that, but then you wonder what's the greater picture, right? And I look at it like the same um the same way they did with the Easy Pass, same way that like I said they did with the malls, the rioting. Um I just see these as like opportunities, you know, to cause like a great shift in society, right? Because when you see that happening, you see all of this stuff that's springing up. So it's never just looking at for anything. You know, it's cause and effect for anything. So that's why I don't invest in having personal feelings because I have to step back and see what's the cause and effect. And so you listen to a repetitiveness. You see what I'm saying? So the cause and effect. So that's just, you know, this right here, the cause is the time to strike now because you have a, a um a whole world basically up in arms, right? You have one, and you know it's funny. The same time they did with the little Afghan thing, you know, I remember wasn't that around the same time with you know like the bombing and all of that, and that was like around when they gave Denzel and Haley you know the awards and shit because they wanted the people. For me, I always said I always felt like that happened because they wanted the people to you know still have a sense of love and concern for the nation without using that as an opportunity because you know there's a large Islamic community. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that you know, white America acknowledged that because they were saying something about um, banning certain information about that on Facebook. Forgive me, I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't have the article. Like this is stuff that I had read, and like I said, I'll keep it in mind. And if I want, I could go look it up and actually put a whole list of stuff together like that. So, because I remember, you know, basically the gist of it, and I never put it away. So I wait for other things to pop up to see if it's what what I see as that value or not. If you know what I mean. Like, um, no information is bad information. It just might not be as big as you want it to be. You know what I mean? So I listen, I look, I'm like, ain't really all that. This right here, you know what I'm saying? And now you could use those as little reference points, but I think it'd be that's what the two people do. They use a lot of them little small shits that don't really be having no connections, but it be true, and they make a story up. Like I try not to do that. I try not to force, you know, the truth. Like you could just sit, you know, study, especially media. Media is a documented shift of anything. It's like propaganda, right? It's programming. So media is documented. That's why we tell you about, what you do on social media is there forever. That goes for them too. Those shows in the programming, in their listings and all of that, that shit is there forever. You could go look that up forever. So you could go look and see what shows was being promoted, right? What was its content? You could actually look at what shows was being played on that day and actually look and see if there's any correlation in the shows. Like, I mean, subject matters and messages and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? And once you do that, you can also form a lawsuit. I'll get into that a whole different time because the things that I be saying is actually for that. You know, because if you don't understand, like like when they say like a spell and all of that, you don't understand because it's coming from so many different angles that you don't know how to repel it. So then you become indoctrinated in it. You know what I mean? Because it's a group, and you don't feel bad about not being alone because you in a group. So that's what you gotta really understand with this. It's an insult to the people, man. It's an insult to the people to take something that is so destructive, right? And it was based on us telling our struggle of wanting to be in white America. I want Gucci, Fendi. I want this Lexus. I want this alcohol. I want these clothing. I want these sneakers. You understand what I'm saying? I want this house. I want to go to this location. I want to drink this. I want it's all but it's all their stuff you're promoting. When you listen to hip hop, especially the 90s, that shit is nothing but a giant bill fucking board. So they go after these little kids, you know what I mean, and their version of hip hop. I don't. I don't go after the young kids' version of hip hop because, it's all dictated anyway, just like our version was dictated. When you listen to the artists of those times and they tell you that, the record labels are basically telling them, even on the black labels, but those black labels had to go through distribution through major white labels, and they telling them this is what we want to hear. So they go back to the artists because they relate to them, they right next to them, and they tell them this is what you make. So yeah, you was bombarded with something that was not a culture. It was what they told you they wanted from the culture. Meaning we just want these people from the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we just want the people with the colorful hair. You know what I'm saying? That's what they saying. With the big labels, they saying we want the feminine appeal, right? Because even if you the toughest gangster, I'm not saying that you not tough, right? I'm saying if you running around with the colorful hair, that means like, you know, you was in your mother's medicine cabinet. Because me growing up, I'm gonna keep it G, right? I had a earring, right? That hole been closed for so long, right? I remember, doing the whole the ice and right, and you know, I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I was always one of them dudes that just, whatever. So, my grandmother saw it. She Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me bring down my yachty real quick, right? Um, well, she's Cuban, and my father's Jamaican, but same, Anyway, long story, but she West Indian, and um, she saw the earring, And she was like, what the fuck is that? Like some gay shit or something like that? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, you got an earring in your ear for? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and me being in America, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about like that? You know what I'm saying? I just know if it's on, I'm coming up with the no, if it's on this side and, all of that. And she's like, yo, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I'm like, got that shit in your fucking ear, nigga. That's all the fuck I know and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I didn't get rid of it right away, but like after a while, I mean, she said it that one time. Like my grandmother wasn't one of them people that, gonna hound you. She gonna say her little piece. She gonna say it. She gonna know what you. She gonna let you know what the fuck she felt. Like if you pursue asking her, she gonna say it. But if not, like she not pursuing it. She told you what it was. She leaving it alone. Like, okay, that's what you saying. Whatever I told you what the fuck I see it as. That's that. So, you know what I'm saying? So I kept it for a while, you know what I'm saying? But then after that I just got rid of it. I never had an earring. You know what I'm saying? Again, like you would never ain't that many pictures. I don't really take pictures, but like no matter how far back you go, it's gonna be very hard to see me with an earring in my ear. Not because I personally, see it like that. It's because like that's how my grandmother saw it. So I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want you to be, giving me the side eye and shit. So I just, you know what I'm saying? Just never, just after a while, just never put it back in. Said I'm good. Said I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? But it's just to say that, cultures and ideas and belief systems, right, is can be put into a music. The music doesn't necessarily okay, like what culture is hip hop? Is it like what culture? I'm confused because in that culture you got white people, right? And in that culture you don't even like that white people, right? Meaning that you got an Eminem, right? You got it, people don't like Eminem. I don't. As an MC, let me tell you something. Eminem is a nice MC. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite MCs due to the fact that he's in a category all by himself. So he earned the slot just due to the fact that there was no competition in the slot. And that meant like, okay, for me, I look at Eminem as um trailer white dude, like a poor white guy, right? In his white world, he's not giving you white guy in a black world. He's giving you a white guy in a white world using a craft once again created by black people. He's just using a craft. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's using the craft that's like getting mad at every rock person for making rock music and then saying that Little Richard or one of them, created, that. So everybody, you ain't mad at all of those white people right there. You just moved away from the craft and, and gave it to them, right? So I'm not saying you do that with hip hop. I'm just saying he's using a craft. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he's disrespecting the craft, that's another thing. If he's saying he's the greatest MC or some shit like that, is a problem. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's a problem because I don't have like a greatest MC. I have MCs for categories. You understand? Like there's a category for like storytelling. My favorite um hood storytelling, which is basically the overall, rapping, would be Coogee rap. Now, My hip hop version of storytelling, which is more partyish, I would give to Slick Rick. My my run up after Coogee Rap would be like I want to say Ice Cube, and then a Jay-Z, right? And I'm just saying, being able to prove that that's a craft that you have for, like, okay, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, right? Hands down, the best storytelling, realistically, album I've ever heard. Like, it was graphical real. It was like, when they say, yo, this is real, and you hearing dudes talking about just shooting up all day, and you know what I mean? Like, I didn't find that real. Like this, it was explanations, it was partying, it was a full fucking album. That shit was even down to having a shorty saying ain't no nigga, like all of it coincide. The way that shit was put together was sick. I'm serious. Like, no album I've ever heard put together. I'm not necessarily just saying lyrical or he's the best MC or no. I'm saying that project in hip hop, the Reasonable Doubt project, I feel is the best. Now, as a collabo project, like I think who did it on a greater scale through the control of more people would be RZA through Wu-Tang. Like, if I break down that whole shit, that shit would be crazy for you. That'll, like, blow your fucking mind. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, the construction of Reasonable Doubt, the having the little dude that you putting on, you understand? Like, it wasn't just a story told within the rhymes. It was a story told through the album. So it was it was levels to that shit. And it was well respected. Like I said, for me, I've never heard an album like that. Now, I would give, like, I think America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube would come in a second. But then, like I said, for Cube, I think that he has more albums constructed like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I would give him, that's why. But then, like I said, I just love Coogee Rap. Even though he might not have whole album structures like that I personally feel. You understand what I'm saying? But individual tracks and whatnot, hands down, all around, he better MC than a lot of dudes. But I just think Jay-Z's album, the construction of it, not just the lyrical, storytelling within each one, which was superb. That's why that's a five micer. And they had to redo Biggie. No, Jay-Z was official. Reasonable Doubt, I don't care what you don't have to say your favorite MC. I'm not saying that. I'm saying album wise, construction, mixed with the storytelling and the lyric. And come on, man, ain't nobody pull no fucking album off like that. I don't give a fuck. Put an album up against Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, right? Put an album up against it. I dare you, right? No. Matter of fact, one album, but I just think that it was too stressed. One album I got that I think it would have crushed it if it was more realistic. You know what I'm saying? And that was the Sticky Fingers autobiography of Kirk Jones, Black Trash. It was like the Black Trash autobiography of Kirk Jones. That album right there, ill. Ill concept, ill follow through. Everything about it I love. Like I got M on there too. You know what I'm saying? Great album, put together, superb. You know what I'm saying? So I would recommend that. Like as far as like like me and understanding what I'm looking for in an album. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole album put together. You know what I'm saying? Not just records, you know what I'm saying, but a whole album put together. Like that's what I'm looking for. Like this complete package. You know what I'm saying? But so I just wanted to give you my insight on hip hop just so you know why I can even talk on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Like you might not know how deep into the culture, quote unquote, of hip hop, not the culture of the streets and all of that I feel has been infected by the verbal, in the imagery that was given to hip hop. It's like Slick Rick giving, the coat, and what is that? Was that children's story? Um, Teenage Love. I think it was Teenage Love where he had the like the fox or some shit somebody gave him just so he could look more in the video. You understand what I'm saying? So those things right there, the imagery, like no offense, because these are just like one of my favorite groups of all time, right? Public Enemy, but lyrically, like you be times and you be like, for me as a lyricist, I'm looking around like, what the fuck was that, Chuck? you know? Like, who was that, Chuck? Like, come on, man, what was that, Chuck? And as a matter of fact, the first Public Enemy album whatsoever, I didn't like. It really wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't about Fear of a Black Planet and all of that. Like once you go into that direction, now that's a whole different story. But that first album, it was none of that. It was it was you know it had some good songs in there, but I didn't like it. Like I used to hate that shit when the um 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 Bum Rush the Show I didn't mind. It was my 98 over Bill. You're gonna get yours. Like I know it is shit, but man, at that time I used to fucking hate that fucking song. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like certain shit I just was like I just wasn't like people around me were feeling it, but I just didn't but then as their career, progressed, you could see where they invested, Def Jam invested their money. And then now you see they became, top notch material. So yeah, you take hip hop to be a culture, you know what I'm saying? I say it's a culture. It's not the culture. You know what I'm saying? It's not like hip hop is not the culture. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is a culture that was meant for artists to express themselves. That's why you had to have many different styles. Yeah, biting and all of that. That's when you knew it went corporate. You know that like that's why you heard Gold say, "Yo, listen, I don't want nobody sounding like me on no album." Matter of fact, I don't want nobody sounding like nobody in my clan. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Be original. Because it was already kicking in. It was times when, you know, like um DOS effects had such an impact that, you know what I'm saying, people were discovering new ways of delivering. You know what I'm saying? And I think the person who killed that shit was Craig Mack. You know what I'm saying? Personally, if you ask my opinion, I think he was like the nail in the hammer of that shit. Even though you might not hear it, you might not hear it. You might trust me. Listen, listen to it, and you might be like, yeah, I can see him being the death of, like how you got the death of auto tunes, like the death of the diggity diggity shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I seen certain, clowns and falls, and you'd be like, hip hop, like I said, it was infested with corporate dollars just to move any of that, to make any of those videos. No matter, you know, um, um, because none of the people really knew about that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So you breaking out the whole crews and the lightings and making, like, all of that shit was a budget. That black people, okay, even if I was making money, where am I getting these type of people, and I gotta spend the time doing that, and now that's interrupting my money. And even if we got a group of people to invest in it, how, you know what I mean, at that time. Now everything is this. You can learn real quick. You know what I mean? Boom, boom. Damn, I could have been doing this. Well, shit. If I had motherfuckers around me right now, I could make a hot ass web series. You know what I'm saying? I write. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me gotta put my book up here just for even talking that. Um, yeah, put the book up. Oh wait, let me take it down from there. Let me put it over. Oh, it's still there. Hold on. Sorry. Bring it down. All right. Street Skelzy, knock him out the box. You know what I'm saying? Written by your one and only. You know what I'm saying? High right now. You know what I'm saying? Go check it out. You can get it on Amazon. You can actually read it for free. You know what I'm saying? I still get the credit for it. You read it for free if you a subscriber to Amazon. You know, do that. Check me out. See how I do. Learn. And I got more books on the way. I got a couple of others. I've written 6 so far, but I also do a lot of the writing. And as you can see, I'm trying to do this stuff. So, you know, I'm an artist. That's why I respect the craft of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And the culture of hip hop is what I respect. You know what I'm saying? Being artists, the ability to express oneself in an artful way. But when I seen that hip hop was as as the culture, right? Not like as a culture, but the culture, meaning that everything around us, right? Once hip hop became the culture, and the culture was dictated, you know what I'm saying, by them puppet hands and shit, you know. Well, once you realize that, and you listen, and all you gotta do, matter of fact, outside of just the interviews with the artists and stuff, Drink Champs, listen to that Faith Evans, listen to that what's the one, Pharrell. That gives listen to I haven't watched it in a while, but those right there, it's another one where he was like, yo, chill, like, yeah, you're giving away too much. You know what I'm saying? And I break down the whole concept of alcohol. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna actually do a show on that. You know what I'm saying? These are my lives right here, so I'm actually do a show on, you know, why Drink Champs is actually, you know, a great place for people to get the information, and all you gotta do is pay attention. You understand what I'm saying? That's a great place because you have the insiders who are giving you the information. All you gotta do is pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, I'm gonna slide up out of here. Take a couple of more puffs of my motherfucking jet fuel and shit. Gelato, jet fuel gelato. Hold on, let me bring that back up. Hold on. Alright. Bring down my yada yada yada. Alright. I don't want to give the company. See how I gotta rate this to cover up really the company. Not to shit on them or anything, but they might have a problem or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The weed part they might not have a problem with, but the rest of the conversation is, you see how you see you see how OnlyFans is giving it up and shit. You know what I'm saying? If they like nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give a report because as you see, this is like basically a new strain that just hit. It's a hybrid between, I didn't know this, some octane, um, and jet fuel. See, they telling you they're learning about the flavor and the effects of jet fuel. Have you smoked, dabbed, or consumed this strain before? Tell us about it by leaving a review. So you can go there. This is Leafy. You know what I'm saying? Go there. If you run across, some strains, hope a lot of you assholes ain't just, going up there giving fucking bullshit at. Like, I don't really like telling people shit like this because then they go up in there and start giving off dumbass fucking, fucking reviews and shit. You're like, yeah, that ain't that fucking straight. That ain't what I fucking came across, you fucking dickhead. But these guys are incredible because they usually get it from the distributors or whatever. See, so they'll tell them that, it got a flavor and aroma of berry, top effects aroused. That's why it's called jet fuel, people. I didn't know. See, so, you know what I'm saying? Get that rocket going and shit. Get that rocket go. I ain't going front. There be strains where certain things be, I mean, right the fuck on point. I mean, right on point and shit. Anyway, I'm out once again. Peace. This is your boy Juice One with another episode of Smoke and Jokes, where we discuss today's topics while indulging in the greatest of herbal essences. And once again, this show was brought to you by Jet Fuel Gelato. Peace.
You won't find love at the bottom. A classic home. Hey, yo, Mo, with this.